What's up gamers, it's TreesapJake here with yet another video, and today's video is going to be a little bit of me talking about some new builds that I've been trying out. Obviously super happy that everyone's really enjoying the guide. I'm really glad that that's been super useful for people. It was really, it has always been a useful thing to kind of get the thoughts of someone that has spent a lot of time playing specs and classes, and I think that's always been the joy of sort of WoW PvP, is that so many of us have spent so much time playing the game and playing specific specs. I don't know if anyone remembers from previous BlizzCons and other such things. There were always guys that, or players that specialized in certain classes more than they did now. I mean, nowadays everyone's playing different healers, everyone's playing different things. Before you'd have people like Sidu who only played Shaman, and then other people, like Mimpoike only played Rest of Druid, and obviously they have got a wealth of experience. Now everyone kind of multi-classes because, to be fair, if you know one class now, you kind of can figure out the rest, and we've got so much time that we can actually just kind of multi-class ourselves if we want to. So I think it's really awesome when you can listen to that, going back to my original point, and it's been really fun to basically be able to do that for you and to be able to kind of share my wealth of experience with casters in general, as I kind of love them. Really, they're probably my most favorite. I think every time I play melee I get really annoyed when I have to run up to people and do my damage there. It's just a bit annoying. But anyway, back to my original point, obviously before I start rambling, is I've been trying out some new builds, and some of the stuff that you guys suggested to me, I always take this on board. So if you ever feel like, oh no, I won't comment on Jake's YouTube comments, he won't take any notice, I'm like, yeah, I do. I always read everything. I literally read everything. You'll notice that every single comment gets a heart from me. That is because I read everything and I like it. Obviously, if you don't get a heart from me, I probably don't agree, and I don't love it. I wouldn't want to lie to you guys. I don't want to give you the, like, I'm not giving you a thumbs up. I might not agree with it, or maybe your kind of attitude I haven't enjoyed, and I think that's a fair thing. But anyway, I read everything, and I've been trying everything, and one of the ones I've been trying recently is this Ice Fury build. I think the builds, it plays very similar. It uses obviously the same sort of setup. We're still using what I think is the classic build of kind of focusing on the overloads, but instead you're kind of wanting to really be a weaving sort of Ice Fury in to kind of buff your Frost Shocks, and then you use your Frost Shocks with the Flux talent to buff your Lava Burst. It's just another way of buffing everything. You just keep buffing and buffing your damage, and so you kind of pump. And as you can see, obviously, probably from the details of the clip, I'm pumping. And you pump in general, but it's just like this extra bit of damage is really useful, especially when you've got melee on you. And melee being on you is tough. It's definitely one of the toughest things to have to deal with, I think, as Elemental Shaman. I think I did some skirms today. I've been doing a lot of skirms and testing things out, where it is genuinely quite tough when people go for you in that regard, and you get trained and you're like, okay, what do I do? And obviously having free instant cast Lava Burst is an amazing way to get some damage out. You can really spread the pressure that way, and also there's limited things for you to I guess things for people to kick, and kind of being able to cast Ice Fury and then just be able to spam Frost Shocks. I was hitting some big numbers in this BG in particular. I think I did like a 50k Frost Shock or something, probably on someone with no gear, but at the end of the day, it's still something, so I think it does a lot of damage, and that's really cool. I like that. I do think the build in general isn't my favorite. I don't think it's something that I'd probably want to continue to play, but it's an option, and I think the best thing about Dragonflight and these new talent trees is the options that you can have and the options that you can take. So I think, looking at Elemental Shaman, we have a very flexible tree. So don't be perturbed by the many options that are going on. I know that when people send you a screenshot of their talents, it can feel really overwhelming, and it is overwhelming. It is horrendously overwhelming to kind of look at these things. You don't know what the hell's going on, especially if you don't know the tree intimately. Obviously, I feel like I know the tree quite well, having done the guide, and obviously just having played as much as I have. Like, you do feel like things are and how things go, and I think that's a fair enough point. And I think as time progresses, you'll feel this about all the trees, and maybe going into the future as well, you'll kind of figure stuff out with the tree as well. And I think that's awesome. I love that sort of stuff, where you kind of what we're doing right now is testing stuff that's sort of really unseen. No one's ever really seen this before. No one knows what's going on. I think it's just a really fun time period to kind of be playing WoW, and I think PvP has so many opportunities and so many possibilities that it would be a real shame not to make the most of it. But anyway, we talked about that build. That's the change of the build, and I think it's an interesting one. Definitely into melee. I've noticed that other shamans that I've played with, other gladiator shamans, are running that as well. I think there are multiple options for that, but I think flexibility, as I said, is key. Like, it's sort of, I don't think Ice Fury itself is really big. You may also notice I've still got a weak aura left over from Legion for Ice Fury, or rather this is from like early Castle Nathria as well as Legion, where I used to have stacks for Ice Fury and other buffs like that for when I could use it from Legion. And I think that's insane. Like, we're kind of going back to a different play style, and I think that's a really awesome kind of thing. That's what I'm talking about, the flexibility. You know, we've got so many options nowadays, and that's sort of fun. So I wanted to use this BG in general because I pumped the damage. Like, I was keeping up with the Warlocks, which I think is really insane. Look, you've got like 3 different Warlocks there. They're like Demo, Destro. I'm fairly sure there's an Athlete there as well. Like, I'm keeping up with them. I'm doing the damage. Like, you can really work your damage out and spread your damage quite well. And in terms of applying that in Arena, I think it's fairly simple. You'll notice some of these kind of 1v1 situations with the DK are pretty cool. I spoke to my friend Bobby DK a little bit, and he was like, bro, Ellie Shamans are so busted, dude. They have so much to stop me doing anything. And I'm like, you're right, yeah, because I can run away in Ghost Wolf where I can't really be slowed by, you know, anything lower than 100%. And you've got Gust of Wind now, so you can kind of leap yourself away, which is really cool. You've got your Root Totem, you've got Static Field Totem, you've got loads of stuff to kind of basically keep yourself on target. And I think that's awesome, man. I really think that's awesome. Like, you got so much utility now, and it feels good. The only thing I'd really want is sort of more consistent damage from just stuff like Lightning Bolt and everything. So it'd be nice if, like, you know, we were able to hit as high as, you know, like Shadow Priest are, because for example, I was doing some more skirms on my Shadow Priest, and I did a Shadow Word Death for 105k or something like that. It was incredibly nutty, and I think that's the thing with a lot of these classes, and the way that the meta has been since really Shadowlands, and obviously we've had the stat squish, is that it's clear to me that it really focuses on a burst meta. There's often a burst meta. Things that burst hard do really well, or things that have like really high consistent damage do really well. But anything that's kind of like in between, that's sort of like got like, you know, kind of like just doesn't hit quite hard enough, you really feel that. You feel it. And I think that's really important. That's why Ellie works so well in the meta, because it has quite a bursty, consistent damage feel. It's just a shame that defensively we kind of suck. So, but utility wise, it feels amazing. So I think we'll have a lot of success in threes. I think as a solo shuffle class, it's highly underrated, like absolutely highly underrated, like really underrated as a class. I think it's going to really pump, and you're going to find that it pumps and does an absolute buttload of damage every now and then. Like, you're just gonna do really well. I did some basically some war game solo shuffle stuff earlier with some friends, and the results were quite interesting. Like, the first time around I did it, just bear in mind, obviously these are all like, you know, gladiator players, gladiator levels, so all 2-4 experience. Like, you know, they know what they're doing with their class, they know what they're playing. My first experience, I didn't do so well. In the first few games, I was trying to figure out what's going on. I had no idea. I think I must have won like maybe like 2 of the games, which is a shame. But then as I kind of figured out what was going on, like I was winning, okay, now I'm like up at the top, like I was doing like really high damage. I was winning 4 out of 6, which was pretty much the same as most people. Other guys were going 0. So it wasn't like, it wasn't like I was missing out entirely. I was doing really well. And then as time progressed, you know, and I swapped different characters and I tried different things, it seemed like I was able to kind of stabilize at that point once I kind of figured out what was going on, because I obviously haven't done solo shuffle since pre-patch, and trying to figure out where other classes are in comparison to where you are can be quite an intense thing. So yeah, I'm really happy with the place that Ellie is, and I think everyone's really enjoying it as well. And I'm glad that so many people have found the guide and subscribed. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I know that it's gone up. I mean, I remember this journey well. Every single time it goes up, I remember it really well. So like, I remember when we were like 9% people who were subscribed or watching. Now we're at 20 something, which is amazing, guys. Like, honestly, 20% of the people watching this are subscribed. That's awesome. That's really good. Obviously, if you haven't, please do subscribe. It really helps the channel, and obviously helps me out continue to make this, guys. And obviously, if you love WoW PvP, please do continue to support me, because I do have a lot of plans for Dragonflight and just, you know, the end of Wrath of the Lich King and everything. Like, you know, WoW in general, I have a lot of ideas and plans for, and I really want them to kind of come to fruition. And in order for that to happen, I really need the support from you guys. It's entirely up to you. In fact, actually, it's always been down to you guys. I think Blizzard have always known this, that it's down to you, the players, and you, the supporters, that helps basically content creators do anything. So I really appreciate you guys, and obviously give me your feedback. Like, what crazy builds have you found? I know a lot of you have been talking to me on the guide about what you found, and in general, like, what have you been enjoying? Elemental Shaman, have you been enjoying the playstyle? Have you been enjoying how everything goes? Just let me know, because I think it'd be really important for us all to stay connected and trying to kind of like support one another, and just kind of like talk about builds and just try and keep WoW PvP alive, man. Like, because, you know, I do feel like we're in the back burner, but I don't want that to be the case, and I want to change things. So please do continue to support me. Keep smashing Elemental Shaman. Please keep clicking on the videos. Keep doing everything. Please do keep, you know, I don't know, just being awesome. I really appreciate that. I'm probably going to dip here, check out the new build, check out the ideas that I've kind of come across. I do think I prefer the old build, just in general, just an FYI. So before anyone kind of like starts going, oh, you've made the guide, now you're changing. No, I haven't. I do much prefer my other one, but this is an option for you to do, and I think that would be a fun thing for people to try. So anyways, I'm going to dip here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, wonderful evening, and otherwise, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.